Listen, we may be on the verge of a major investment and trading opportunity, and you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned to find out what it is. Ready? Let's go. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. As I said before, we may be on the verge of a very big opportunity, and it all starts with the cryptos. So we are on the Bitcoin chart here, and if you didn't see the video I did before on the huge opportunity that may be brewing for Bitcoin as well as other cryptos and other commodities, then you might want to check that out, and I'll tag that to this video. But since that video, I left the markups on this chart, and so far we are having our first breakout when it comes to Bitcoin. So what does this mean? Let's make sure we understand everything that's going on the charts first, and then talk about exactly where we see things going. So let's go even further back on the weekly. So on the weekly here, obviously most recently people have said Bitcoin is crashing. I told you so with Bitcoin, is not stable, yada, yada, yada. But if there's anything you should know about any kinds of assets that people invest in, they go through their cycles, they go up, they go down, but a lot of times over time, a good amount of them continue to go up if you hold. Now, why this chart is significant is because this may be the turning point for Bitcoin. So if we look at the very beginnings of Bitcoin, its first major run to a peak, right, was once it got to the 18,000 area before it had its first big reversal. So it had its reversal, however, came back up to that area, not exactly 18,000, but came back around to that 15,000 area. So around that area of resistance before it took its next drop. So now finally we come back around and we break through, and we really break through. So if we're looking at the time frames that these events happened, so we had our first big peak at December 17th. Our next peak after that was July 2019. So we have 2 years apart where Bitcoin, people said it was crashing around that time. People didn't understand it, didn't know what it was, but came right back up 2 years later. So now from 2019, it started to crash again. And then once we hit the end of 2020, look what happened. We got a huge explosion with Bitcoin. Bitcoin went all the way up going into the year 2021. And we got to our first all-time high with Bitcoin around 62,000. Then gave us a major retest going back down to the 30,000 area, and then came right back up to break that high and go as high as just under 70,000. Okay, so now we have been on a major reversal since then. Bitcoin has dropped all the way to around 15,000 area. Now, why that's significant is because it happens to line up structurally with price. If we take a look at where the first initial highs were, this created an area of resistance. And as you drag this green box all the way across, you realize that it then becomes a support for price most recently in this moment. So that being said, being that this is a strong support for price, okay, why? Because again, served as an area of resistance, price came and bounced off this area. Now we are at a point where if we can break through this next area of resistance for price, okay, previous support over here, previous support over here, and now currently resistance in this area. If we are able to break through, which it looks like we're starting to, because we have some bullish momentum here. If we're able to break through, then we do have momentum to the upside. So once we break this area, if you look to the left-hand side, we have quite a range to go up. Now, there can possibly be some areas of struggle, especially since this area, this previous area of support for price, can turn out to be an area of resistance for price. Very true. But if we break this area, this is a major area here, served as major support for price. If we break this area, we are looking good for the upside with Bitcoin. So if this happens, then you have to ask yourself the question, is this the next Bitcoin run? And in my opinion, it would be the next Bitcoin run, especially if we break this area of resistance. I don't see it coming back down to break the support from that point on. I see it continuing on its way up, definitely probably getting to this area of resistance. We'll see what happens there. But if it breaks through there, then again, we have another clean range to the top to the all-time high. And who knows, maybe we may create a whole nother high. The point is, Whether it just goes up to this area and reverses all the way back down, or it creates a whole new high, the point is this is a major opportunity. Those who want to invest in Bitcoin and just hold your money in there, those who just want a nice swing trade opportunity, same thing. The point is, we are gearing up for something major, especially with everything, again, you hear from the dollar. Don't think it's a coincidence, especially when you hear all this fundamental news on the dollar. This country is dropping the dollar. This country wants to trade in their own currency, etc., etc. Less dependency on the dollar. Listen, again, this may not mean that the dollar is going to be replaced as the world's reserve currency tomorrow. But again, what it does mean is that investors and people who just pay attention to the news will start losing confidence in the dollar. And usually when confidence is lost in a particular asset, it's just really shifted from one asset to the other. It's shifted from the dollar to commodities. It's shifted from the dollar to crypto. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity. In the first couple of Bitcoin waves, many people became rich because they took advantage of the opportunity. They didn't wait until Bitcoin hit 50,000 to start investing. No, they saw what was brewing and they took action and they invested, and now they're sitting pretty well. Now, second time around, as the second crypto wave is gearing up, you don't want to miss out, because this could be your opportunity to change your life, and this could be your opportunity to really change things dramatically for your entire generation. Make sure you're paying attention to what's going on so you don't miss out. Now, obviously, this is Bitcoin, but there are other opportunities in other cryptos as well. I'll just go over Ripple on just how that chart looks like. Now, if we take a look at Ripple had crashed, especially with news years ago about what had been going on with that company. But again, since we have that weakness in the dollar again, we need to start looking at these cryptos a bit more closely. And on the technical side, for traders too, we need to start looking at the technicals, especially since the fundamentals are lining up. So now on the technical side, if I'm looking at Ripple, I'm looking at this area of support, very strong area of support that price has been around. And I'm looking at how it has not been able to break this area of support. So most recently, it has bounced off this area. And now we have a potential again to go further to the upside. Okay, so possibly we break this area of resistance, we retest, and then we head to the upside. And then all of a sudden, more opportunities for more cryptos, more opportunities to make money and transform your life. You don't want to miss out on this. Something is brewing for sure. May not be all-time highs. It may be all-time highs. Either way, I do think it's a major opportunity to make a lot of money, guys. All right, so take a close look at your cryptos. Take a close look at gold and silver and other commodities as well. But make sure you're not one of those on the outside looking in. You want to take action, and later on, you won't regret it. All right. So again, guys, we'll revisit this. We'll continue to see how things are going with the cryptos, with the commodities. And as they break out, we'll continue to update this and see where our next target points are. All right, guys. So I hope you gain value in this video. Please like, share, and subscribe as usual. Join the Maestro. And until next time, peace.